The small diner was warm and softly lit, the kind of place where people came to relax after a long day. The smell of freshly cooked burgers, fries, and hot soup filled the air, making the room feel cozy and inviting. Plates clinked, coffee cups steamed, and quiet conversations mixed with the gentle hum of the refrigerator. Behind the counter, in one corner booth near the window, sat a young mother and her little girl. They looked different from the other customers. While most people were laughing and enjoying their meals, the woman sat quietly, her shoulders slightly tense, her eyes moving around the room as if she didn't want anyone to notice them. Her clothes were clean but simple, and there was a tired look in her face that told a story of long days and heavy worries. Across from her sat her daughter, a small girl with wide, curious eyes and messy hair tied into a loose ponytail. She was swinging her legs slowly under the table, looking around with the innocent curiosity only children have. Every few seconds, her eyes drifted toward the nearby tables where people were eating. The smell of food seemed stronger near them, and the little girl swallowed. Quietly, as she watched, someone dip a fry into ketchup. The mother noticed and gently placed her hand over the girl's small fingers, resting on the table. She forced a soft smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Mommy, I'm hungry," the little girl whispered, her voice so quiet it almost disappeared under the sound of clattering dishes. The mother's heart tightened, but she kept her voice calm. "I know, sweetheart," she said gently. "We'll eat when we get home, okay?" In her hand, under the table, she was counting a few coins, carefully, slowly, hoping somehow they would become enough. But they didn't. Around them, waiters moved quickly, carrying trays of warm meals, and the comforting smell only made the moment harder. The little girl tried to be patient, but her eyes kept drifting toward the food again, especially the plate at the next table where a man sat finishing his meal, unaware that a pair of small, hungry eyes were quietly watching. Meanwhile, the mother took a slow breath and glanced at the door, already thinking it might be time to leave before anyone realized they had come inside. Without ordering anything, the mother gently held her daughter's hand and slowly stood up from the booth, trying to move as quietly as possible. Her plan was simple: leave before anyone noticed they hadn't ordered anything. She gave the little girl a soft look, hoping she would understand without asking questions. The diner was still busy, filled with the sounds of people talking and forks clinking against plates, and she hoped they could slip out unnoticed. But as they turned to walk toward the door, the man at the next table glanced up from his plate. He had been finishing his meal when he noticed the little girl earlier. At first, he thought she was just looking around like children often do, but then he realized something different. Her eyes kept returning to his plate, especially the sandwich and fries that he had not finished. It wasn't a rude stare or a demanding look. It was quiet, almost shy, the kind of look a child gives when they are trying not to ask for something they really want. When he saw the mother quickly standing and guiding the girl toward the exit, he understood what was happening. For a moment, he hesitated, unsure if he should say anything. He didn't want to embarrass them or make the situation uncomfortable, but something about the little girl's silent hunger stayed in his mind. Before they could reach the door, he gently called out, "Excuse me?" His voice was calm and kind. The mother stopped immediately, her shoulders stiffening slightly as she turned back. Her face showed a mix of worry and embarrassment. She quickly pulled her daughter a little closer to her side. "I'm sorry if she was bothering you," the mother said softly, her voice apologetic as she glanced toward his table. The man quickly shook his head with a warm smile. "Oh, no, not at all," he said reassuringly. He looked at the small plate in front of him and then back at the little girl. "Actually, I ordered more food than I can finish." The little girl peeked shyly from behind her mother's arm, her eyes again falling on the sandwich and fries. The man leaned back slightly and added gently, "I really hate wasting food. Would you help me finish it?" The mother hesitated, clearly unsure what to say. Pride and worry crossed her face for a moment. I can't pay for it," she admitted quietly. The man shook his head again, his smile calm and sincere. "You don't have to. It would actually help me a lot." The little girl looked up at her, mother with hopeful eyes waiting silently, while the diner continued its busy rhythm around them. The little girl sat down slowly at the booth, still looking a bit shy, while her mother remained standing for a moment, unsure if accepting the kindness was the right thing to do. The man gently slid the plate toward the child with a friendly smile, trying to make the moment feel normal and comfortable. The girl looked at the sandwich and fries as if they were something very special. Carefully, she picked up a fry and took a small bite. Her face brightened almost instantly, and a quiet happiness appeared in her eyes. Seeing that simple reaction made the man feel glad he had spoken up. The mother finally sat down across from her daughter, still a little embarrassed but deeply grateful. She kept watching the girl eat slowly, trying to stay polite, taking small bites as if she didn't want the food to disappear too quickly. While the girl focused on her meal, the man casually raised his hand and called the waiter over. He leaned slightly closer and spoke in a low voice so the mother and child wouldn't hear. "Could you please add 2 more meals to my bill?" he asked quietly. The waiter nodded with understanding and walked back toward the kitchen. A few minutes later, 2 warm plates arrived at the table, fresh and full. The mother looked surprised and quickly shook her head. "We didn't order this," she said, clearly confused. The waiter simply smiled kindly and replied, "It's already been taken care of." The mother's eyes immediately moved toward the man. He was already standing up, putting on his jacket as if he didn't want to make a big moment out of what he had done. He gave the little girl a friendly nod. "Kids deserve full stomachs," he said gently. The mother felt her eyes fill with tears she hadn't expected. She placed her hand over her chest and whispered, "Thank you. You have no idea what this means to us." The little girl looked up from her food with a fry, still in her hand, and waved happily. "Thank you, mister," she said with a bright smile. The man waved back softly and walked toward the door, leaving the diner quietly. He never asked their names, and they never learned his. But that evening, a tired mother felt a small piece of hope again, and a little girl finished her meal with a full stomach and a warm memory of kindness.